Kyle Lawson here along with Mike Griffith from MLive.com. We're here in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium, the site of an unfortunate cotton bowl for Michigan State, 38-0 Alabama win. And Mike, where do you start with this one? Do you start with that interception? Do you start before that, after that? Where do things kind of start?
You know, I think it's just, I would say there's some fundamental problems here. Michigan State took away Derrick Henry, 75 yards on 20 carries. But boy, did they pay a price. Michigan State knew that if they committed to the run that they would be giving Jake Coker some opportunities to go deep with Calvin Ridley. Tonight set a new Alabama freshman record, broke Amari Cooper's record for most yards receiving by a freshman. Really kind of put Demetrius Cox and some of those secondary guys in an unfortunate man-to-man situation, Kyle. When you leave these guys in coverage that long, there's not much you can expect them to do, especially when Coker is able to go to the line every play, read the box, and say, okay, they're loaded up to stop the run, I'm calling the pass. And you got to give Nick Saban credit. He knew what Michigan State was going to do. He knew how to exploit it, and he had the players to exploit it. On the flip side, Michigan State couldn't get anything going offensively. You look at Michigan State's 4 tailbacks. I think they had 15 carries for 31 yards, not able to get anything going on the run. I was a little surprised, Kyle, that we didn't see a little bit more creativity out of Michigan State trying to run the football.
Yeah, I think Michigan State, I think Alabama anticipated Michigan State's game plan, frankly, what they wanted to do. I think they were ready to air Jake Coker out. I think he was ready to have this sort of game. And give them credit. It's not something that they've done, and they really kind of went away. I mean, to me, it takes some guts to kind of say, hey, our Heisman-winning tailback who has carried us all year, we don't think he's going to be the guy tonight, and to go with a quarterback who really hadn't carried them throughout the year. But that's what they did, because I think they knew Michigan State was capable of taking away Derrick Henry. They certainly were. But give Alabama credit, they were ready with Plan B, and they executed it very well.
And they were willing to go with Plan B. Whereas I'm not sure that Michigan State really was.
No.
We didn't see much from Michigan State that we hadn't seen all year. You know, Connor Cook, a lot of people are going to beat him up. He had a couple of picks. But really his receivers, they didn't do a very good job getting open. Now, in the interception that he threw towards the end zone, I thought Burbage was open. I think it would have taken one of Connor's patented great throws. He didn't make a great throw. He underthrew him. And, you know, really, you're looking back, and that may have been a turning point in the game. If Michigan State scores there before the half and cuts it to 10-7, Kyle, I don't know if we're having this conversation, but as it was 10-0. The Tide got the ball to open the second half, marched right down the field, converted on a big third down, marched down the field, 17-0. A few minutes later, there's a punt return for a touchdown. It's 24-0, and the game's out of control. So I thought Michigan State, though, in the trenches, but I thought their defensive line held up. I think they showed their toughness, their physicalness, but in the end, I just think Alabama had too much talent at the skill positions. Just much better, I thought, in the secondary and at receiver.
Well, I thought Michigan State's offensive line really struggled with Alabama's front seven. Obviously, you look at the tailback stats. I think you just said 15 carries, 31 yards.
Yeah, 14 of those came from Damian Terry on one play.
Yeah, so obviously a terrible day rushing, and Connor Cook just didn't have the time that he's had all year. You know, he was sacked 4 times. He was only sacked 17 times coming into the day. He got sacked 4 more times. He wasn't able to get into a rhythm. He was on his back. He was hurried more, I think, today than he has been all year. And that's not Michigan State's offensive line. We saw them against Iowa really set the tone and have a great physical game and win that for them on that final drive. And today was kind of the opposite, I thought.
Well, you know, Michigan State's been able to be more patient with some of these teams that they've played against. But tonight they played a team with dynamic and explosive athletes, and they weren't able to be patient, Kyle. You can't just wait around like Michigan State was doing. I think we kind of saw this in the Michigan game.
Yeah.
You know, they just wanted to butt heads and play field position, and you just can't do that. And tonight Alabama made it pay. Clearly, Alabama the better football team, and boy, I'll tell you what, Clemson's going to have their work cut out in Glendale because that's a football team that's playing really good. Remember, their only loss came on a night where they turned the ball over 5 times, and they still had a chance to beat Ole Miss that night. So this Tide team is really rolling, and for Michigan State, you know, maybe another chance now for the program to get the chip back on the shoulder for a next group of guys to come up and have their work cut out for them and know what they need to get done. The outgoing class of seniors, though, winningest class ever, took the program to new heights. 4 straight bowl wins in a row. It was a new program record, tied a Big Ten record, and they finished 6-2 against top 10 teams since the start of 2013. So, you know, for Michigan State, though, I think it's kind of the end of one cycle. It's certainly a pretty loud, crashing end here at AT&T Stadium, Kyle.
All right, well, that'll do it from Dallas. For me and Mike, check mlive.com/Spartans for all the coverage.